guys. I've been dying to make a video for ages, but I got a new laptop for Christmas and couldn't figure out how to get video editing software figured out. So here I am, back at school, new camera, new laptop, new software, and I'm really excited to get back and keep doing videos because I found I really enjoy it. So today I'm going to review a show called The Lizzie Bennet Diaries. It's on YouTube, and you should definitely go watch it. The show was developed by Hank Green and Bernie Sue, and they have taken the story of Pride and Prejudice and made it something that people want to watch, something that people want to interact with, and they've done it in a totally new way. First of all, the show is filmed in the style of a vlog, just like what I do. Actually very different from what I do. But just like anything that you'd see on YouTube, it really does come off a little bit more polished, but it looks like, you know, a girl sitting in her bedroom in front of her camera talking about her life. And that's the idea. Is Lizzie is in grad school. She's doing her thesis in mass communications, and these video diaries that she does are part of that. They are the basis of her thesis project. She just talks about her sisters and her parents and her friend Charlotte and schooling and stuff like that. What's cool about the show is how it interacts, lets you interact with the characters. It started out obviously as just the vlog, Lizzie talking to her camera. You get to see her sister Jane and her sister Lydia and her best friend Charlotte, and they do these imitations of like people that they know, like her parents and Bing Lee and Darcy and Caroline. But it's kind of moved beyond that, because the more the actors and the creators thought about it, the more they realized if Lizzie and her friends and family are really real people, if they really live in the world that we live in today, they have social media. So all the characters in the show have Tumblr and they have Twitter and they have their own YouTube channels, and you can interact with them. You can talk to Lizzie about what's going on in her life, and you can talk to Charlotte and ask her what she really thinks about Bing or what she really thinks about Darcy. And it's really cool. When something really giant happens on the show, you see, you know, hundreds of thousands of people tweeting Lizzie saying, oh my gosh, what just happened, and I can't believe you said that, or I can't believe Darcy said that, or, you know, things like that, because it really does feel not like the same old story you've seen in a movie 100 times. Even though we love that story, it's not the same thing. They've made it so today and so real life that you really are wondering what's going to happen next. Even though logically you know that Darcy and Lizzie end up together, and Jane and Bing end up together, and Charlotte leaves, and, you know, all these people end up happy in the end. Even though you know that, you're still anxious to see what happens next, and you're heartbroken for Lydia when these things happen with her with George Wickham, and you feel Darcy's pain when Lizzie rejects him, and it makes them real in a way that I haven't seen before. And I really liked Pride and Prejudice before. I love that movie with Keira Knightley in it, and I've read the book, and I loved it. But I've never really understood why the characters are the way they are. Like, you see Darcy and you fall in love with him because, you know, he's this guy with this really tough outer shell, but he's really a good guy on the inside. And the thing that Lizzie Bennet has shown me is why Darcy is the way he is. And the reason I know that is not necessarily from the show. The other cool thing about the show being so interactive is that it allows people to take what Jane Austen did, and then what Hank Green and Bernie Sue have done, and elaborate upon that. So you get all of these fan stories and fan art and fan videos that explore the depth of these characters. And one, you do get to see a lot on the show, especially for me, the character of Lydia has become really dynamic, because before I really could not stomach her. I found her irritating. I didn't understand why she did the things she did, and basically I just saw her as sort of a Bella Swan type character that just moved the story along. She didn't really have a personality aside from being irritating. But the show has really shown me these sides and dynamic aspects of Lydia that I didn't see before, and she's really become one of my favorite aspects of the story and of the show. And they do a lot of that on the show. You get to see her relationship with George Wickham and those things outside of Lizzie. The thing about Darcy's character and Gigi's character, and even a little bit with Jane, people have taken what the show gives them and what Jane Austen gave them and have expounded upon that in amazing ways. You get stories about how did Darcy and Gigi's parents really die? How did Gigi feel when George Wickham left her? How does Jane really feel about the fact that Bing has left her in the dust, basically? the reason Jane Austen stories, the reason Pride and Prejudice is timeless is because they really are issues that girls and people, I mean, I don't want to limit this to women, but that people really deal with. Pressures of society and pressures of their family and pressures of what people think about them. Obviously, that's something we still deal with. That's something everyone goes through. And the show has made these characters that people fell in love with years and years ago come alive again in a completely different way. But they've really made Elizabeth and Darcy people. Like, before I never would have thought, you know, I really want to go hang out with Lizzie Bennet. That was not a thought that crossed my mind. Like, I didn't feel really any connection to them other than, oh, this is a really cool story. Like, you feel that, but this has taken it to a completely different level that adaptations have not done before. It makes you care about things. It makes you care whether Ricky Collins really has a fiance in Winnipeg, Manitoba, of all things. And it's amazing. It draws you into the story in a way that other adaptations haven't, and I'm hoping that they do more things like it. Maybe not necessarily specifically Hank Green and Bertie Sue, but I hope that people do this, that they take stories that are not dying, but that are not as relatable as they once were, and make them something new, and make them something that people want to connect with now. The show lets you connect with the characters not only on Twitter, but they have their own YouTube channels outside of Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and so, yeah, you get to see, of course, Jane and Lydia and Charlotte and all these other people interact with Lizzie on her own diaries, but you also get to see what Lydia's like when she's just Lydia. Like, she has, when Lizzie's not there, when Lizzie's at Netherfield or Pemberley or visiting Charlotte at Collins and Collins, you get to see her on her own. Like, she does her own video series, and when she's at Pemberley, you know, Lydia and Lizzie have just had a fight, so Lydia runs off to Vegas and runs into George Wickham, and that's where the whole story starts, and you get to see their relationship progress, and the whole time you want to tear your hair out because you're like, Lydia, why don't you see what he's doing to you? And I love how interactive that becomes, that you really genuinely care what happens to Lydia. You care because you can see George Wickham using her. And after you see these things with George and Lydia transpire, you get to see how Darcy fixes it. Lydia doesn't know, Lizzie doesn't know, but Gigi Darcy has her own set of videos sort of following how Darcy and Fitz and Gigi are trying to fix it, because they know who George Wickham is, and they know what he's done, and they know he needs to be stopped. And it gives you just enough insight into what's happening so that you really feel what's going on, and you're waiting on the edge of your seat for Lizzie to find out, and it's amazing. So Lizzie Bennet Diaries is coming to a close. They're getting to the final proposal probably tomorrow, hopefully. If the last video was any indication, all the fans out there are getting really excited, and there's all kinds of fan fiction coming up. There's all kinds of stories and videos and people freaking out all over the internet, and it's incredible and exciting, and I can't wait for tomorrow. I hope that even though you didn't necessarily, if you haven't seen the show yet, you didn't necessarily get to grow with it like some of the people who started, you know, a year ago like I did watching it. You won't necessarily get that growth experience the same way, but I definitely think it's worth watching. I definitely think it's worth spending the couple of hours to watch the 100+ videos to really see Pride and Prejudice in a whole new light. And I've actually filmed this video 3 times trying to get it right because I'm that excited about it. My camera doesn't have a whole lot of memory, so it cut off the end of my last tape. I just want to say, give it a try. Web shows are something that's new and creative and fun, and the internet community is going crazy over them, so take a look, try something new. I definitely think it's worth your time, and you'll love it as much as we do. Hopefully I will have some new videos up soon. I realized after going a really long time without doing it that I missed it, and I enjoy doing it, so I'm definitely going to do more. I have a couple of ideas already, but I'm more than willing to hear what you guys have to say, what the people who watch these would like to see me talk about. It sounds so stupid. I guess that's what vlogging is, right? So leave me a comment or message me on Facebook or Twitter. Let me know what you want to hear in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.